Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Mayapur Dham ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 2. How's the volume in the back? The volume's okay? Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 45. Nāsya karmaṇi janma-ādau parasyanuvidhīyate kartṛtva-pratiṣedhārthaṁ māyayāropitaṁ hitat nāsya karmaṇi janma-ādau parasyanuvidhīyate kartṛtva-pratiṣedhārthaṁ māyayāropitaṁ hitat nāsya karmaṇi janma-ādau parasyanuvidhīyate kartṛtva-pratiṣedhārthaṁ māyayāropitaṁ hitat. Please chant. Nāsya karmaṇi janma-ādau parasyanuvidhīyate māyayāropitaṁ hitat asya karmaṇi janma-ādau parasyanuvidhīyate kartṛtva-pratiṣedhārthaṁ māyayāropitaṁ hitat māyayāropitaṁ hitat. Vaishnavis. Nāsya karmaṇi janma-ādau. kartṛtva-pratiṣedhārthaṁ. janma-ādau. anuvidhīyate. kartṛtva-pratiṣedhārthaṁ. māyayāropitaṁ hitat. nāsya karmaṇi janma-ādau. parasyanuvidhīyate. kartṛtva-pratiṣedhārthaṁ. māyayāropitaṁ hitat. Never, asya, of the creation, karmaṇi, in the matter of, janma-ādau, creation and destruction, parasya, of the supreme, anuvidhīyate, it is so described. Kartṛtva, engineering. Pratiṣedha-artham, counteract. Māyayā, by the external energy. Āropitam, is manifested. He, for, tat, the creator. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about His direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. Purport. The Vedic direction for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world is this. Yato va imāni bhūtāni jāyante, yena jātāni jīvanti, yat prayanty, abhisaṁviśanti. Everything is created by Brahman. After creation, everything is maintained by Brahman, and after annihilation, everything is conserved in Brahman. Gross materialists without any knowledge of Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan conclude material nature to be the ultimate cause of the material manifestation. And the modern scientist also shares this view that the material nature is the ultimate cause of all the manifestations of the material world. This view is refuted by all Vedic literature. The Vedanta philosophy mentions that Brahman is the fountainhead of all creation, maintenance and destruction. And Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the natural commentation on the Vedanta philosophy, says, janma-ādau asya tonvayāditaratas-chartesha bhigyasvarat, etc. Inert matter is undoubtedly energy with potential to interact, but it has no initiative of its own. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam therefore comments on the aphorism janma-ādau asya by saying abhigya and svarat. The supreme Brahman is not inert matter, but he is supreme consciousness and is independent. Therefore, inert matter cannot be the ultimate cause of the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world. Superficially, material nature appears to be the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction, but material nature is set into motion for creation by the Supreme Conscious Being, the personality of Godhead. He is the background of all creation, maintenance, and destruction, and this is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Māyayāropitaṁ prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagadviparivartate. The material nature is one of the energies of the Lord, and she can work under the direction of the Lord. Abhisaṁviśanti. When the Lord throws his transcendental glance over the material nature, then only can the material nature act, as a father contacts the mother, who is then able to conceive a child. Although it appears to the layman that the mother gives birth to the child, the experienced man knows that the father gives birth to the child. The material nature therefore produces the moving and standing manifestations of the material world after being contacted by the Supreme Father, and not independently. Considering material nature to be the cause of creation, maintenance, etc., is called the logic of nipples on the neck of a goat. The Chaitanya Charitamrita by Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes this logic of aja gala shtana nyaya as follows, as explained by His Divine Grace, Sri Śrīmad-Bhākti-Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. Quote, the material nature as the material cause is known as pradhan, and as efficient cause is known as maya. But since it is inert matter, it is not the remote cause of creation. Kaviraj Goswami states as follows, Atayeva Krishna Mula Jagat Karana Prakriti Karana Yoiche Aja Galashtana. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5.61. Because Karana Navashayi Vishnu is a plenary expansion of Krishna, it is he who electrifies the matter to put it in motion. The example of electrification is quite appropriate. A piece of iron is certainly not fire, but when the iron is made red hot, certainly it has the quality of fire through its burning capacity. Matter is compared to the piece of iron, and it is electrified or made red hot by the glance or manipulation of the supreme consciousness of Vishnu. Only by such electrification is the energy of matter displayed in various actions and reactions. Therefore, the inert matter is neither efficient nor the material cause of the cosmic manifestation. Sri Kapiladev has said, Yatol mukad vishpulingad dumadvapi sva sambhavat apya atma vena bhivat manad yatagni pritag ulmukat. The original fire, its flame, its sparks, and its smoke are all one, for fire is still fire, yet is different from the flame. Flame is different from sparks, and sparks are different from the smoke. In every one of them, namely in the flames, in the sparks, and in the smoke, the integrity of fire is present, yet all of them are differently situated with different positions. The cosmic manifestation is compared to the smoke, because when smoke passes over the sky, so many forms appear, resembling many known and unknown manifestations. The sparks are compared to living entities, and the flames are compared to material nature, pradhan. One must know that each and every one of them is effective, simply because of being empowered by the quality of the original fire. Therefore, all of them, namely the material nature, the cosmic manifestation, and the living entities, are but different energies of the Lord, fire. Therefore, those who accept the material nature as the cosmic manifestation's original cause, prakriti, the cause of creation according to Sankhya philosophy, are not correct in their conclusion. The material nature has no separate existence without the Lord. Therefore, setting aside the Supreme Lord as the cause of all causes is the logic of aja gala shtana nyai, or trying to milk the nipples on the neck of a goat. The nipples on the neck of a goat may seem like sources of milk, but to try to get milk from such nipples will be foolish. nāsya karmaṇi janma-ādau parasyanuvidhīyate kartṛtva-pratiṣedhārthaṁ māyayāropitaṁ hitat. Translation again. There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. Om ajnanatimidandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for giving me the chance to try to speak on the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Before I start, I'll beg the blessings of all the assembled devotees that I can speak according to the parampara and not go off track. There were certain things that Srila Prabhupada gave special emphasis to in his books. He is the founder Acharya. He's the powerful Acharya sent by Lord Chaitanya. So what he presents is a perfect formula for the people of the modern day. There are so many great teachers, and each of them have their particular presentation. Some of them focus on this, some of them focus on something else. But Prabhupada was empowered by Krishna to perfectly present what people need, what people require in the modern day. This is one of the things that people in the modern day require. People in the modern day, do they have faith in the Shastra? Do they have faith in the sadhus? No, they don't have faith in either of those. They have faith in the modern scientists. So the modern scientist comes before them, and the modern scientist, with eloquence, with his intelligence, with his vast vocabulary, with his jugglery of words, presents some ideas. And the submissive people hear the scientist as the authority. And the scientist can speak absolute nonsense, but he's a scientist. He went to a very reputed university, and he's very well spoken, and therefore people accept what's being stated, even though it makes no sense. Where did everything come from? Everything came from nothing. Something came from nothing. That's the origin. And somehow that thing which came from nothing, some reaction happened to it. Where that reaction came from, what was the force that acted on that something, they can't explain. But over a course of very, very long period of time, from that chunk, from that original piece of whatever it was, all the varieties of creation have manifested. Incredible variety. And as the scientists use their technology, their instruments, their advancement, they come to understand how complex the material cosmos is. They used to break it down into particular levels of complexity. Say, oh, here's a very tiny particle of energy. But now they could study that particle of energy in a much more focused way. And they're seeing, oh my God, the complexity here in this tiny particle of energy is incredible, more complex than a city. And still, they stubbornly hold on to the idea that all this complexity, all this artistry, all this symmetry, which everyone is stunned by, including the scientists, has occurred by chance, random. All these laws of nature, no lawmaker. The amount of faith it takes to believe that is incredible. It's an incredible amount of faith. So who came up with this idea? Who came up with this incredibly wild idea? Well, Krishna. Krishna inspired them with that craziness. They're so intent on there being no God. They're so intent, so determined there should be no God. So they need some justification. These aren't some drunkards in the street rolling around in the gutter who don't care about any of the questions. These are people with big brains, so they want to have some explanation of reality. So Krishna says, you're so determined not to see me anywhere. You're so determined. Here's a philosophy. Here's a philosophy. It doesn't make sense to sane people, but it'll make sense to you. And I'll empower you to convince other people who have the same mentality as you to believe it as well. So Prabhupada repeatedly is challenging, smashing these ideas of the modern scientists that life has arisen from matter. Where do we see any example, Prabhupada says, of life arising from matter? Life is always coming from life. So why do you say life comes from matter? Life comes from matter. We'll supply you the chemicals, produce life. And what is the scientist's response? Just now coming. Post-dated check. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're on the verge. So Prabhupada was protecting people from these misleaders. That's one category of misleaders, the modern scientists. Another category of misleaders are the people who are pushing the idea that by sense gratification, somehow you'll become happy. Although people's experience is that I'm trying this, it's not working. I'm gratifying my senses, it's not working. But the misleaders of society said, yes, it's not working yet. Why? Because you haven't gotten this, this, and this. You have these things in place, but you just need to go a little further. You need to get a different model, a different brand. You need to improve yourself in terms of your physical appearance, get a new partner, get a new model car, get some better glasses, whatever, sunglasses, get more prestige. Then you'll be happy. So people are looking, I'm not satisfied. So let me look at the people who have all of these things. Are they satisfied? Do we see that they're so happy? The ones that have all that money, that have all that facility for sense gratification, are they happy? Well, the evidence would suggest otherwise. So Prabhupada was always hammering home the point, no, there is no possibility. Give up that hope. Why? Because in the heart of the conditioned soul, although the experience is there of frustration, the experience is there. We tried that. We tried it. How many times? Puna punascharvita charvananam. It's an old story. Trying to be happy. It's like the mouse running through the maze, looking for the cheese. Look, and he's going up alley number 1. He goes there, there's no cheese. He comes back. He says, maybe alley number 1. Goes back again. He does it millions of times. Cheese is never at the end of alley number 1, but he's a mouse. His brain is not so developed. So in the material world, everyone is a little bit dull-headed. Although experience shows us there's no possibility of becoming happy through the gratification of the senses. That happiness is temporary. It's superficial. It leaves a big gap in the heart. My heart is still empty. That empty heart is Krishna's mercy. As we continue on the path of Krishna consciousness, Krishna and Prabhupada, they smash our hope in material life more and more to the point where we don't feel satisfied unless we're deeply absorbing in Krishna consciousness. At all other times, we feel some emptiness in the heart, because that emptiness in the heart can only be filled by one thing. This we have to be convinced of. When that heart is filled with love for Krishna, that's it. Then the heart is content. Nothing else will satisfy the heart. So Prabhupada, he's smashing in a way that no other teachers smash, in a way that no other teachers speak. There is no happiness in this material. Who speaks like that? Prabhupada speaks like that. There is no happiness. Hope against hope. Futile endeavor. So much discussion about this world, and Prabhupada sums it up. It is a nasty place. So we hear from him, and our faith in the material world is gradually destroyed. This is Prabhupada's grace. The scientist, he's smashing them so that people don't become bewildered by the scientists. He's smashing people's hopes that they can be happy, and people say, you know what? He's right. I can't be happy by any material endeavor. You can juggle the material world any way you like. It doesn't work. It can't satisfy the soul. The soul is spirit, the world is matter. Simple formula. Then the soul thinks, I have to find an alternative, right? But so often the soul is misled. By what? Impersonalism. Yes? The soul is suffering in this world, and the soul comes to the realization, there's no possibility. I can't be happy here. It doesn't work. So the soul seeks to escape. Normal, if you're suffering, you want to get out. You realize, oh my God, I'm in a prison house. There's no possibility of freedom here. So I want to escape. And here comes some Swami, speaking all sorts of nonsensical words, but very convincing, because they're following Shariraka-bhashya. The ones who are true impersonalists, they're presenting the conclusions of Shankaracharya. That Shariraka-bhashya was presented by Shankara, his Lord Shiva, empowered to bewilder the souls of this world who want something other than Krishna. So imagine how much Shakti there is in that commentary. So much Shakti. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj says there's so much Shakti in that commentary that it can even turn the mind of an elevated devotee, turn him away from the path of bhakti. So the impersonalist comes and he presents his idea to the struggling soul, and he says, yes, you're not matter, you're a soul, aham brahmasmi, you're spirit, you're glorious, you are one with the Supreme. Oh, that idea sounds nice. I like that idea. What is everyone doing in material existence? Material existence means I'm trying to imitate Krishna. I'm trying to be God, trying to be the center of reality. The false egos, incredibly huge. Any simple person, huge ego. What to speak of the people who have qualification? Imagine what a struggle it is for them. Of course, they don't struggle, they just run with it, Unless it's a devotee who has some extra qualification, then it's a struggle. All that temptation. That's why sometimes the devatas become bewildered. Indra, so many stories in the Bhagavatam of Indra becoming completely confused. Why? He's Indra. You think he's good looking? He's super good looking. You think he has power? So much power. Controller, one of the controllers of the universe. He's the one who controls the rain. So powerful, surrounded by people. And what are those people doing? Slapping him on the back. Hey, what's up, Indra? No. Folded hands offering prayers. All these powerful beings offering him prayers. Indra, king of the gods. Yeah? Wealth, he's living in Svarga. That's a very high-grade neighborhood. There's no, this is the ghetto of Svarga. No, it's Svarga Loka. Total opulence. And he's the king there. That can be bewildering. So bewildering. And so the Bhagavatam is saying, yes, you see, the bewilderment of having those opulences. So the soul is trying to be God in this world. And then the soul becomes frustrated with trying to be God. And then the Mayavadi comes and says, you are God. So, oh, I'm God. How am I God? You've simply forgotten. You simply need to purify yourself of that illusion, the illusion which has overwhelmed God. How crazy is the idea? Somehow illusion, Maya, has overwhelmed Brahman, has overwhelmed God, and therefore God is in a state of forgetfulness, toiling in this world. You simply have to reawaken your understanding, your remembrance of your real identity. You are one with Brahman. You are God. Oh, that idea is nice, attractive to the conditioned soul. I can't be God through material life, but Swami is promising me I can be God through spiritual life. So Prabhupada has come and he's constantly smashing these ideas. And when people read Prabhupada's purports, Prabhupada's explanation, they say, yeah, that's really a stupid idea. I'm God, you know. I used to sell books in the airport, and I would hand people, where are you from? Nice to meet you. I'd hand people the book. And so the guy looked at it, and he looked at me, and he said, oh, I don't need it. I'm God. He actually told me, I'm God. And somehow Krishna gave me a little bit of inspiration. I said, can I see your ticket, please? It was in the days of paper tickets. And I grabbed the ticket, and I said, oh, God is flying economy? So it's a level of silliness and stupidity that's unparalleled. And Prabhupada is exposing it, exposing that foolishness. So now someone comes to the understanding, I'm not God. Let me accept this fundamental truth. Someone else is God and I'm tiny. Krishna's God and I'm tiny. But then there's another pitfall that souls fall into. They come to the path of bhakti and they understand the steps it takes to go from where I am to where I want to be. A totally filthy heart, filth which has been accumulated for innumerable lifetimes, solidified for innumerable lifetimes. I want to go from there to pure consciousness, to pure love. But we have a affliction in the modern day. We're very impatient. Yeah? What the heck's wrong with this internet, you know? It's only this number of megabytes per second. It should be this number. And you call up the internet provider. My internet's slow. Very impatient. Everyone is impatient. We want something and we want it now. So that same tendency can be there in spiritual life. One is applying the practice of Krishna consciousness, and then one becomes impatient. Oh, when will I realize that I'm a gopi? When will I realize that? And then here comes the teacher saying, yes, all of this thing that Prabhupada is teaching, you know, all of this, you know, heavy sadhana, and then after the sadhana going out and trying to help the world. It's good, very good. Good for the beginners. But if you're more advanced, then that's not the path. The more advanced path is something else. Let the world go to hell. Forget about Lord Chaitanya's mission. Mahaprabhu came to save the souls of this world. He saved us through Prabhupada and through Prabhupada's representatives. And now Mahaprabhu's asking, I'm one person. He's God, but he said, I'm one person. I have all these fruits. Whoever helps me distribute them, I'll be grateful. So which devotee will not say, oh, let me do my part? What can be a higher service than that? According to our capacity to distribute these fruits that Mahaprabhu came to give. So this minimizing Prabhupada's presentation. Prabhupada is the Acharya. He's the Acharya, the empowered representative of Krishna. He knows the perfect formula. Strong sadhana. If you read Prabhupada's instructions, it's constant repetition. If someone is not so bright, you repeat something 3 times. People in Kali Yuga are really not bright. So Prabhupada repeated thousands of times. What is the solution? Solution. Rise early in the morning, attend Mangalarti, chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles, do active seva. Surely you'll achieve success. Prabhupada emphasized it again and again and again. So Prabhupada was very vigilant to speak against sahajism, the tendency of the soul to want to go somewhere where the soul doesn't belong yet. That's not our process. Our process is not, I want to see God, I want to see God. Our process is try to serve, try to develop the qualities of a Vaishnava in such a way that God wants to see you. And then Krishna, he takes away the veils of illusion. And when that process is complete, one sees Krishna. So Prabhupada was very strong in preaching against these tendencies of the scientists preaching their nonsense, the materialists preaching their nonsense, the impersonalists deviating souls from the proper spiritual path, and the sahajas telling people they can get the most exalted thing super cheap. Prabhupada already, he lowered the price. What's the price for getting Vraja Prem? The Prem that's available in Goloka Vrindavan, that price is so high. Great yogis, great masters they have a tough time to achieve that. For them, it's a dream. If I could only, Mahaprabhu has come, he's given it very freely, and Prabhupada has set the bar. He has that authority because Krishna loves his devotees. Krishna honors the words of his devotees. And if his devotee says that if you chant 16 rounds a day, if you follow 4 regulative principles, if you serve the mission, you'll achieve Goloka Vrindavan. Then Krishna says, okay, that's a really good deal you're giving anyone, but I honor that deal. So don't try to make the deal cheaper than that. That's not the process. So Krishna is inspiring souls from within their heart, just like he's inspiring people to have a totally irrational view of the world, that it's appeared by chance. And it's functioning by chance. It contradicts all of everyone's experience about how things work. But Krishna has inspired them based on their desire. Ye yata mam prapadyante tangs tataiva bhajami aham. Mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Whatever the soul desires, Krishna reciprocates with the soul. And Krishna adjusts that soul's vision of reality based on their desire. Even something which is not going to bear fruit, Krishna gives that person faith because the person wants faith. Despite all evidence, just like in our Vedic culture, right? It's not that the Vedic culture is only presenting one path. It's not that the Vedic culture is a bhakti. No, Vedic culture is presenting here, karma kanda. You have so many material desires. Okay, you worship this devata, that devata. You fulfill your material desires. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that I'm the super soul in everyone's heart and I inspire that person with faith. This person is worshiping a particular devata, and what they're worshiping thinking, yeah, this is a really stupid idea what I'm doing, you know. I'm going to get something which is temporary. I've done this 1 billion times. I've had those things. It's not good. No, the person is thinking, this is really going to be worthwhile. You know, I'm going to get these material things. I'm going to be happy. I could even go to the higher planets. So Krishna is inspiring the person within the heart with faith, with conviction that yes, this is the right thing to do. Of course, if you read 2 verses later, 2 verses I think it is, Krishna says, Alpa Medasa, small brain. Huh? But the person never gets to that shloka. He just reads the other shloka, which says, yes, worship the devatas. Krishna doesn't inspire him to jump to that shloka yet. alpamedasa. That's for later. So based on the desire of the soul, Krishna reciprocates. What do you want? And based on what we want, we'll see the world in a certain way. We'll see God in a certain way. Even God personally comes to earth. Personally, he comes to earth. And still, what's going on with the yellow dhoti and the feather in your head? What's up with that? Prabhupada said a few qualified souls could appreciate, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because they had bhakti. They had love. The other ones they couldn't see. Despite all evidence. Yeah? Despite all evidence. Duryodhana, he didn't have bhakti. No bhakti. The opposite of bhakti. He was abhakta. He was really an abhakta. The enemy of the devotees. Enemy of Krishna. He said, tie this person up. Huh? Tie this Krishna up. There's only maybe one person who can tie Krishna up. Huh? Certainly Duryodhana can't tie Krishna up. So he told his guard, tie this Krishna up, who's come on behalf of the Pandavas. So Krishna says, that's really not how it works, you know. And so Krishna manifests a universal form. The litmus test of someone being God is the universal form. That universal form leaves no doubt in the mind. You know, because that universal form, it knocks you on your back. It's like, my God, the jaw drops to the floor, and the eyes are wide open, and the body is trembling. Like Arjuna. Arjuna saw the universe, he was overwhelmed. Finally, he composed himself and offered prayers. Duryodhana saw that universal, it was a different version of the universal form, but again, Duryodhana was overwhelmed, seeing the universal form of the Lord, right? And after being overwhelmed by that vision of the universal form, once he'd composed himself, did he offer prayers like Arjuna? Oh Lord, master of countless, no. He thought, Krishna's a real good magician. This person is really a master of magic. So the same person, people are seeing him in a different way. Shishupal, he couldn't see Krishna. He was envious of Krishna. So, who should be worshipped first? What's the question? Who should be worshipped first? There were so many great personalities. Brahma was there, Shiva, all of these great sages, sadhus, powerful personalities. Who should be worshipped? Of course, Krishna should be worshipped first. Where's the question? Krishna? Why would Krishna be worshipped first? Shishupal's vision was completely tainted by his envy. He was diminishing, minimizing the glory of Krishna, despite all evidence. Everything became twisted in his brain. His understanding of Putana, this Krishna, so sinful. He killed a woman, a nice lady, Putana. This is his version of the Putana Leela. What's the big deal? You know, people are glorifying this Krishna. He killed Bakasura. He killed a duck. What's the big deal? This duck, Bakasura, was so powerful, the demigods couldn't deal with him. Indra's thunderbolt, Bakasura was so, but in Shishupal's mind, so what? He killed a duck. He heard about Govardhan Leela. Big deal. A little pebble. He lifted a pebble. What's so great about that? At that time, Govardhan Hill was so tall, it was touching the clouds. The curse had not taken full effect yet. It was so high. But this was Shishupal's distorted vision of Krishna. So based on the condition of one's heart, one sees Krishna in a different way. The more one is envious of Krishna, the more one can see Krishna nowhere or minimize the glories of Krishna. And the more the heart becomes uncovered, the more one can appreciate. The more Krishna is revealed to the soul. And when the heart is totally pure, then bhakti, love, awakens in the heart, then one can most deeply appreciate Krishna? Who can appreciate Krishna the most? All the residents of Goloka Vrindavan appreciate Krishna unlimitedly. But it's said, Srimati Radharani, because of the depth of her love, she appreciates Krishna the most. So much Krishna is saying, what is she experiencing? How is she appreciating me? So Krishna wants to see how she's appreciating him. So based on the depth of one's love, one can appreciate Krishna. But there's an interesting twist to the whole thing. Just as Shishupal was minimizing Krishna, in the state of deep ecstatic love, where there's no veneration, there's no recognition of Krishna's majesty, the devotees also sometimes minimize Krishna's glory, out of pure love. Krishna, I was just hearing, and it's very nice in our tradition, you can plagiarize and it's not against the rules. So you hear from other people who share something and you can share the same thing. So Gauranga Prabhu, great soul, he was sharing how Sri Dhamma and Krishna, they were getting ready for some sport. One side. And in sports, you try to intimidate the opposite side. In modern lingo, it's called trash talking. And on the battlefield, the Kshatriyas also do it. Who are you? You're nothing. I will vanquish you. And the other person says, you're going to be food for vultures. It's called trash talking. So Krishna also has his version of intimidating the opponent, put some doubt in the opponent's mind. So Krishna tells Sri Dhamma, Sri Dhamma, do you know who I am? And Sri Dhamma says, yeah, of course I know. I know you better than anyone. And Krishna says, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sri Dhamma laughs. Yeah, you're the Supreme Personality. Good one. And he announces to all the cowherd boys, Krishna is the Supreme Personality, and everyone laughs. And Krishna's taken back a little bit. And he says, but just consider, I killed Putana, a great powerful Rakshasi. Who can do that but the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What else did Krishna do? Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill with one finger. Doesn't that prove that I'm God? In this way, Krishna was presenting different arguments to convince Sri Dhamma he's the Supreme Personality. Putana? You didn't kill Putana. Putana was killed by the prayers of Mother Yashoda. You had nothing to do with it. Then Krishna says, yes, but Aghasura, the great snake demon, I killed him. You killed Aghasura? No. We had already entered into the belly of Aghasura. By the time you entered, he was half finished anyway. We did most of the work. Govardhan Hill? You didn't lift Govardhan Hill. All the offerings of the devoted Vrajvasis put Govardhan into such ecstasy, Govardhan became light like a feather. How difficult is it to lift a feather? So this is the special prerogative of those who have pure love for Krishna. And Krishna relishes that. He relishes it so much that he desires nothing else. He wants that sweet, ecstatic flavor of pure, unconditional love which is not restricted by any sense of his majesty. And that's what Prabhupada came to give us. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goda. Rupa Goswami is looking at Lord Chaitanya and appreciating his mission. Said, what? What? You're giving this? You're giving this prema to these people? Wow. Wow. So one has to be sober. One has to appreciate, who am I? Where did I come from? I was pulled from the gutter. Really? And I'm being given the chance to practice Krishna consciousness, to progress. So one should be very careful. Don't sabotage it. And how is one careful? Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. That's how one is careful. Chant Hare Krishna and be very careful to be respectful, to be appreciative. What to speak of offenses? Do the opposite. Appreciate. Don't let that tongue go that direction. Don't let the ears hear something which is going to poison the heart more. Someone wants to speak to me some nonsense, some criticism of devotees. No. You want to commit suicide? I feel very bad for you. But don't commit suicide and homicide. Don't kill me also. Sorry. I have enough poison in my own heart. I don't need to add to it. Then our path is clear. No question about it. Our path is clear. And the time will come when our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, will be pleased with us and they'll give us that prime benediction. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. It is now 9 o'clock, so there's no time for questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.